Hi everyone, welcome to this 60-minute Vinyasa practice. For this one, I did my own self-practice, poses that my body felt like they needed, and recorded it, and you can follow along too with me. So you can start in a comfortable position, an easy seat, cross-legged, hands wherever they're comfortable, and close your eyes. And start to really notice what it feels like to be in your body, to be in this moment and in this space in the world. Feeling the breath coming in and out of your lungs. Starting to lengthen that breath. Inhaling a little deeper, feeling your belly expand on the inhale. And then exhaling, fully pushing the air out of your lungs. Noticing what it feels like to breathe. And drop your chin to your chest. Let your head hang here. Roll your head to the right, so your right ear is coming to right shoulder, and then roll back to center, and then your left ear to left shoulder, and back to center, and right ear to right shoulder, back to center, left ear to left shoulder, back through center, right ear to right shoulder, back through center, left ear to left shoulder, back through center, right ear to right shoulder, center, left ear to left shoulder, and then come back to a neutral neck position. Just look over to the right, and then over to the left, and back to center. Now twist to the right, placing your left hand on your right knee, and right hand to left knee, twisting to the left, and come back to center, and to the right, and to the left, and back to center. Extend your feet out in front of you with bent knees still, and bring your hands to the insides of your feet, pressing your arms against your legs. Inhale, open to the right, bringing your arm up and back, and then exhale to close. Inhale, open to the left, arm up and back, twisting open. Exhale, left hand back to left foot. Inhale, right hand up and back. Exhale to close. Inhale, left hand up and back. Exhale to close. Keep going with your own breath, inhaling to twist open and exhaling to close. And then go ahead and come to a malasana. So lift your butt off the ground and come to, a squatting position. And then inhale to open your right hand up to the sky. Exhale, close. Inhale, open your left hand up to the sky. Exhale, close. Inhale, open to the right. Exhale, inhale, open to the left. And exhale to close. Now come to a tabletop on your hands and knees. Inhale, drop your belly for cow pose. And exhale, round your spine for cat. Press into your hands. Inhale for cow. And exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, back to neutral spine. Extend your right leg out behind you and your left arm in front of you. And then reach back with your left hand, grab onto your right foot, and then kick your foot into your hand. Start to open up your hip here. Looking forward. Lift your leg up a little bit higher, your foot. And release your hand and your knee down to the mat. And then extend your left leg behind you and your right arm in front of you. Reach back and grab hold of the inside of your foot, and then kick your left foot up into the air. Keep breathing here. And extend and release your hand and knee down to the mat. Now come to puppy pose, so keeping your hips above your knees, walking your hands forward, and trying to press your chin down to the mat. If you can't do your chin, you can do your forehead. And if you can do your chin, you can start to press also your chest down to the mat. Feeling an opening in the shoulders, upper back, and come back to a tabletop. Inhale, twist open, and then bring your right hand through between your left hand and your body to thread the needle. Little shoulder opener here. Inhale to twist back open, and exhale, replace your right hand down on the mat. Inhale, lift your left hand, twist open, and then exhale, bring it between your right arm and your body for a bit of a shoulder opener. Feeling your shoulder blades pulling apart here. And inhale to twist back open. Exhale, replace your left hand down to the mat. Tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back for downward facing dog. First downward facing dog of the practice. So bend your knees a little bit. Start to work into the backs of your legs. Inhale to come onto your tiptoes and then flow forward to a plank pose. And then exhale, bring your hips back and then up to downward facing dog. Inhale, forward to plank. Exhale, hips back and then up. Inhale, forward to plank. Exhale, bend knees, hips back and up. Inhale, flow forward. And then now, place your right hand in the center of the mat. Lift your left hand for a side plank. And then lift your left foot, bring it to your chest, and then set it down next to your right hand at the top of the mat. And come to lizard pose, so both hands on the inside of your left foot. Your right knee should be down on the mat, and you can lower your torso down. If you can come down to your forearms, if you have that much flexibility, you can do that. Or you can just try and lower your upper body down towards the mat, opening on the hips here. And then bring your right knee off the ground, bring your left foot between your hands, and then step your right foot up to meet your left for forward fold. Go ahead and hang here in this forward fold, trying to bring the weight to the fronts of your feet. Can bend one knee and then the other, starting to work into the backs of your legs. Can let your head hang. Shake it yes and no. And then slowly rise up to Tadasana, mountain pose, standing nice and tall, broad through the chest, strong through the legs, feet grounding down into the mat. Inhale, reach up to the sky. Take a few breaths here, nice and tall. Start to press your hips forward, looking up and back. Exhale, hands to heart center, Samasthiti. Inhale, come onto your tiptoes, reach up to the sky. And exhale, back down to your feet, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach up, come up to your tiptoes. And exhale, hands to heart center, feet flat on the ground. Keep doing this at your own pace, your own breath, coming onto your tiptoes and reaching up. And you can try and look up to test your balance as well. And you can take a few breaths just coming onto your tiptoes, not moving your hands. And then interlace your fingers behind your sacrum and pull down to stretch open your chest. And then folding forward, letting your interlaced fingers come overhead. And release your hands down to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands and step back to a high plank. Take a whole breath here, and then lower halfway or all the way down. Inhale for upward facing dog or cobra, and exhale, downward facing dog. You can walk out your dog, bending one knee and then the other. Inhaling to roll forward to high plank, and then again bend your knees, sit your hips back and up. Inhale forward, exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhale forward, and this time place your left hand in the center of the mat and lift your right hand up to the sky, side plank. Lift your top foot, bring your knee to your chest, and then set your right foot next to your left hand, bringing both hands to the inside of your right foot and come to lizard pose. Again, dropping that torso down, maybe coming onto your forearms, feeling the hip opening. Lift your left knee up, bring your right foot in between your hands, and then step your left foot up to meet your right, forward fold. And inhale to rise all the way up, reach up and look up. Exhale, samasthiti, hands to heart center. Take a breath here. And then inhale, reach up and spread your arms wide as you come all the way around and down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant hands, step back and lower halfway or all the way. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra, press that chest forward, and exhale, downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here, pressing your sit bones up and back, lengthening through the spine, opening in the backs of the legs. Inhale, bend your knees, walk, step, or hop to the top of the mat, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, reach up, look up. Exhale, hands to heart center, samasthiti. Inhale, reach up, look up, and bring your arms wide around and down to a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant hands, step or jump back to chaturanga or all the way down. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra, and exhale, downward facing dog. Breathing through your nose, keeping your mouth closed. Keep working into the backs of those legs. Have the weight in your thumbs and index fingers. Bend your knees, hop to the top of the mat, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, reach up, look up. Exhale, hands to heart center, samasthiti. Inhale, reach up, look up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant hands, step or jump back, chaturanga, or all the way down to the mat. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bend your knees, inhale to hop, step, or jump, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. And from here, bend your right knee and go ahead and grab onto the back of your right foot. And then start to try and pull your thigh parallel to the ground while keeping your chest nice and open here. So channeling a back bend while pulling your thigh eventually parallel to the mat. And then start to lower your left hand all the way down to the mat. For sugarcane pose, Ardha Chandrasana, Chapasana. Really kicking your foot into your hand to open your hip, and then feeling this nice intense stretch on the back of your left leg. And breathing here. Inhale to rise up, and then set your left foot down on the mat, nice and wide-legged. Inhale to lengthen your spine, broaden your chest, and then exhale to fold all the way down. For Prasarita Padottanasana, wide-legged forward bend, you can bring your hands in line with your feet and then press into your fingertips to help you come deeper into this fold. And then bend. You can stay where you are, or you can start bending one knee and then the other, playing with some skandasanas here. Lowering your hips to one side and then to the other side. Working into the hips, into the inner thighs. And then come back to the deep fold, letting your head hang here. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale, hands to hips, and then inhale to rise all the way up. Walk your feet in, point your toes out, and come to a goddess squat. So sink your hips down, hands at heart center. And then inhale to straighten your legs, and exhale to rebend them, sink your hips. Inhale to bring your arms wide and around, straighten your legs, and exhale to sink your hips. Inhale, arms wide and around, straighten your legs. Exhale, sink your hips. Keep doing this with your own breath. And next time you come to straighten your legs, when you bend them, come to a warrior two. So turn your left toes towards the front of the mat and your right toes towards the right side of the mat. Nice deep bend in the left knee. And then reach forward and come to reverse warrior, keeping that nice deep bend in the left knee and reaching up and overhead. Back to warrior two. And then come to extended side angle. Your right arm reaching up and overhead, your left forearm pressing into your left thigh, really pressing your hips open. Press your outer right foot down towards the mat and really reach up and over your head with your right arm. Inhale back to warrior two, and then exhale, cartwheel your hands down and go for a vinyasa. And meet in downward facing dog. Inhale, bend your knees and come to the top of the mat, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, reach up, look up, and exhale, samasthiti. Now bend your left knee and grab hold of your left foot behind your body. And then again, start to kick into your hand and try and bring your thigh parallel to the mat while not dropping your torso down. So you want to keep your chest nice and lifted here. So channel a back bend while trying to pull your thigh parallel to the mat. And then start to lower your torso now down towards the mat, eventually reaching your right fingertips down towards the mat for Ardha Chandrasana Chapasana. Really kick your left foot into your left hand to open your hips and feel the deep stretch on the back of the right leg. Inhale to come up and then set your left foot down on the mat and come back to that wide-legged straddle position. Interlace your fingers behind your back and then fold forward, letting your interlaced fingers fall overhead for a Prasarita Padottanasana C. You can let your hands come down to the mat and you can grab onto your big toes with your index and middle finger for a Prasarita Padottanasana D. Try to bring the weight towards the balls of your feet in any forward fold, standing forward fold. And again, you can bend one knee and then the other. Feeling how this changes the stretch, where you feel that. Inhale to lift halfway, and then plant your left hand in the middle of the mat and lift your right hand up to twist open. Exhale, bring your right hand, inhale your left hand up, and exhale your left hand back down. Walk your hands back in line with your feet. And then inhale, lift halfway, hands to hips, and lift all the way forward. Now come to warrior two. Your front knee pointing towards the front of the mat. Reverse warrior, right hand reaching overhead. Back to warrior two, and then to extended side angle with your left hand reaching up and overhead and your right forearm pressing into your right thigh to open your hips here. Bend a little deeper in the right knee. Really reach that left hand up and overhead and press your outer left foot down into the mat. Inhale back to warrior two, and then exhale, cartwheel your hands down and go for Vinyasa. From downward facing dog, come to Vajrasana. So drop your knees down to the mat, sit back on your heels, and then interlace your fingers behind your back and pull open your chest. Now lift your hips off of your heels, so like you're coming to a camel pose. Sort of a mini camel pose here. Bring your arms out to a T and then come to eagle arms. So first swooping your right arm underneath of your left, and then lifting your elbows up and away from you, and pressing your hips forward for a bit of a sort of eagle camel pose here. Release your arms back out to a T and then swoop your left arm underneath of your right for the other side. Really pulling your elbows up and then pressing them away from you. Pressing your hips forward. And release your arms. And come to a child's pose. Come back to tabletop, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Inhale to lift your right leg, three-legged dog. Bend your knee, open your hip, and stay here or flip over for wild thing. Straighten your right leg, three-legged dog. Exhale, right knee to nose. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, right knee to right elbow. You can set it on top for an arm balance. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, right knee to left elbow. Inhale, three-legged dog. And exhale, plant your right foot between your hands. Rise up for warrior one. Nice deep bend in the right knee. Try and tuck your tailbone underneath of you. Look up to your fingertips if possible. Exhale your hands to your hips. Bend your left knee and then bring out in front of you. Set it on top of your right thigh. Come to a figure four, standing figure four. Sink your hips down nice and low. And then if you want to, you can reach down towards the mat. Should feel this in your outer left hip. And flex your top foot. Inhale to come back up and hug your left knee into your chest. And you can stay here or you can start straightening your left leg, grabbing onto your big toe. Bringing your right hand to your right hip if you're doing this. And then bring either your bent or extended leg out to the left side. Extending your right fingertips and looking out to your right hand once you find your balance. Utthita Hasta Padangustasana. Bringing that left leg back to center and then holding it, bringing your hands to your hips. Keeping the left leg nice and lifted. And then set it back down on the mat. Inhale, reach up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands. Step or jump back for Vinyasa. Inhale your left foot up, three-legged dog. Bend your knee, open your hip, and flip over for wild thing if you want. Back to three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee to nose. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee to left elbow. You can set it on top for an arm balance. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee to right elbow. Inhale, three-legged dog. And exhale, bring it through, plant it, rise up, warrior one. Exhale your hands to your hips, bend your right knee and bring it through for a standing figure 4, setting your right foot on top of your left thigh. Find that sweet spot where you feel the nice stretch. Sink your hips nice and low, and you can reach down towards the mat. Inhale to rise up, hug your right knee into your chest. And then again, start to extend it, grabbing onto your big toe with your index and middle fingers. Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana A, and then extending it out to the side. You can still extend it out to the side if your knee is bent, just opening your hip here and extending your left fingertips out to the left. If you find your balance, looking out to your left fingertips, but if it helps you balance, you can look forward and extending your right leg out to center. Bring your hands to your hips and hold it here, breathing. And setting your right foot back down to the mat. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant hands and step or jump back for Vinyasa. Downward facing dog. From here, bend your knees, come to the top of the mat, halfway lift, forward fold, rise all the way up, inhale, exhale, hands to heart center. Now, come to a tree pose. So starting by lifting your right foot, you can place it on, I placed it first on top of sort of my hip flexor for a Bikram style tree pose. But eventually it started hurting my knee, so I placed it on the inside of my thigh. So you can place it on either your calf, your thigh, or on top of your hip. But please don't place it on your knee. This can be dangerous. Bring your hands to heart center. You can also bring your hands up or down like branches, whatever you like. And hug your right knee into your chest and set it back down on the mat. Hug your left knee into your chest and then come to tree pose on the left side. Hug your left knee into your chest and bring it back down to the mat. Bring your feet wide, toes pointed out slightly. When you come to Malasana, drop your hips and press your elbows against your thighs to open your hips here. Try and broaden your chest. And you can stay where you are, or you can twist open with one arm at a time. You can try placing the arm that's not twisting open really against your leg, kind of pressing open your thigh. If you want to, you can bind. But if it's too painful, then don't worry about it. Or if you can only bind on one side, then that's okay too. You can try. But your fingertips might not quite reach, and that's okay. Take a few more moments in Malasana. And then you can stay here, or you can practice crow. So placing your hands about 6 inches to a foot in front of your feet. And then placing your knees on the backs of your upper arms. Balancing here for crow pose. If you can't find crow pose, you can really just start by lifting one foot at a time. So just lifting up one foot, keeping the other on the mat, and then lifting the other. And if you're in crow, you can shoot your legs back for chaturanga and vinyasa. Otherwise, wherever you are, meet in downward facing dog. Inhale, come to the top of the mat, and then sit down, extending your legs out in front of you for Dandasana. Hands underneath your shoulders. Bend your right knee, place the sole of your right foot against your left inner thigh, and then fold forward at the hips, grabbing onto your left shin or foot or big toe. With every inhale, lengthen your spine, and every exhale, pull yourself closer to your left foot, gazing at your left big toe. Savasana. Okay. Inhale to rise up, extend your right leg, and then place the left sole of your foot against your inner right thigh. Inhale to lift your arms overhead, and exhale to fold forward. Gazing at your right big toe. Folding forward over the right leg. To rise up, extend your left leg, and then come to reverse tabletop, so moving your hands behind you with your fingers pointing towards your body and lifting your hips up to the sky. You can drop your head back if you want to, if it feels okay with your neck. Really pressing those hips up. And exhale your hips back down to the mat. Extend your legs out in front of you. And our next pose will be Gomukhasana. So bending your right knee, placing your right foot on the outside of your left thigh with your sole of your foot pointing towards the left. And then swinging your left leg around so the sole of your left foot is pointing out to the right. Your knees should be over top of each other here as much as you can. And then you can grab onto your feet and stay with your torso lifted, with your chest nice and broad, or you can fold forward over your legs, whatever feels good for you. Or you can do a little bit of both. Keep both sit bones on the mat here, and try and keep your hips behind your knees, so you might have to move them over. Might even be moving, adjusting as your body starts to open. And then unwind, extend your legs out in front of you, come to the other side. Feet pointing out, knees on top of each other, and again, either holding onto your feet with a broad chest, open chest, or folding forward. And unwind. You can shake out your legs a little bit. And come to Baddha Konasana, so bringing the soles of your feet together, knees wide. You can start to lean forward, but really try and keep a flat back here, flat lower back. Try to press your knees down towards the mat. Inhale to lift up, and then go ahead and roll over your legs to come to lay on your belly. Come to Sphinx pose, elbows underneath your shoulders, pressing your forearms into the mat. Really pressing into those forearms so you don't have a dip in the upper back. So it is convex rather than concave in your upper back. Relax your glutes. And release, placing your hands next to your armpits, feet together, and pressing into your hands, lifting up for Cobra. Really press that chest forward and shoulders back. Keeping your pelvic bone on the mat. And exhale to lower, bringing your hands behind you, interlacing them behind your sacrum, and then lifting up for Shalabhasana, half locust pose. Lifting your feet, your arms, and your chest, looking forward. Try and lift up a little bit higher with every breath. And exhale to release down to the mat. Rest your right cheek on the mat. Bend your knees, grab onto the outsides of your feet for Vinyasa, bow pose. Bring your knees towards each other, not too far apart. And then inhale to lift everything up, your chest, your legs, your feet. Really kick your feet into your hands to lift them higher, but make sure your knees aren't coming apart. And exhale to lower down to the mat. Bring your left cheek to the mat. Bring your hands next to your armpits, lift up for another cobra pose. Press that chest forward. Exhale, release down to the mat. And then roll onto your back for Setu Bandhasana, bridge pose. Lift your hips up, interlace your fingers underneath of your body, and really press those hips up towards the sky. You can lift your right leg up to the sky for a breath and replace it, and then lift your left leg up and lower. Press those hips up and release your hips down to the mat. Roll back over to your belly and then come to kneel at the front of the mat for camel pose, Ustrasana. First, place your hands at your sacrum with your fingers pointing down. Start by just pressing your hips forward and then start to look up and back. But pressing your hips forward is key. And then eventually, if you can, grabbing onto your heels and pressing the hips forward. Keep breathing. And bring your hands back to your sacrum. Inhale to rise up really slowly. And then come to lay on your back once again for another bridge pose. Lift your hips. Press your hips up to the sky. Make sure your knees aren't coming too wide apart. And exhale, release. And now you can do another bridge, or you can come to Urdhva Dhanurasana, wheel pose. So placing your hands next to your head with your fingers pointing towards your body. And then first lifting your hips, inhale, and then exhale to lift your upper body off the mat. Pressing your hips up towards the sky. And tuck your chin to release. Hug your knees into your chest. After doing back bends, we always want to do a forward fold. Whether it's hugging your knees into your chest, or you can do a child's pose, or you can do Paschimottanasana, which we're about to do as well. So come to sit with your legs extended out in front of you, and then reach forward, bending at the hips, grabbing onto your big toes, or your shins, or your feet. Forward fold to counteract the back bending that we were just doing. Inhale to come back up, and then cross your legs, roll over your crossed legs, and come to downward facing dog to prepare for pigeon. Inhale your right leg up, three-legged dog, bend your knee, open your hip, straighten your right leg, and then bring it through for pigeon. If your right hip is off the mat, you can place a pillow or a block or a book underneath of it. And always broadening your chest, lengthening your spine first before folding forward into the pigeon. Really try and relax in this pose. Relaxing your upper body over your right leg. letting go of any tension. Breathing into your right hip, your right glute. Inhaling to rise up, walk your hands back. Remove the pillow if it was there, and move your right foot more underneath of your left hip flexor. Really broaden your chest, and then bend your left knee, reach back with your left hand and grab hold for a quad stretch. You can also walk your hand towards your elbow for a mermaid pose. But feeling this in your left quadricep. Release your left foot, plant your hands, and lift your right leg up and back, three-legged dog. You can kick it out a little bit, shake it out, and replace it down to the mat. Inhale your left foot up to the sky. Bend your knee, open your hip, straighten and bring it through for pigeon on the other side. You can place the pillow under your left hip and broadening your chest first before folding forward. Relaxing your upper body over your left leg. Inhaling to walk your hands back, lifting your upper body, removing the pillow, walk your left foot under your right hip flexor, and then bend your right knee, reach back, grab hold of the inside. And again, you can start to slide it towards your right elbow crease, feeling the stretch in your right quadricep. And release your right foot. You can just swing your legs out in front of you to come to lay down on your back. Hugging your knees into your chest and rolling from side to side, giving a massage to your low back. I do a little bridge pose here to counteract the forward folding in the pigeon because it feels good for my back. And also placing the pillow underneath my hips for like a small supported bridge. It can feel really good. So just laying on your back with a pillow underneath of your bum. Really gentle, really gentle back bend. And hug your knees into your chest again. Grab onto the outsides of your feet for happy baby. Pulling your feet down towards your armpits. hug your knees into your chest, cross your left leg over your right, and then let your legs fall to the right with your arms out to a T, looking out to your left fingertips, keeping both shoulder blades on the mat. Supine twist. Inhale your knees back to center. Switch so your right leg's now crossed over your left, and then let your legs fall to the left, looking out to your right fingertips if it's okay with your neck. Inhale your knees back to center. And grab onto the outside of your right foot for half happy baby. Pressing your left thigh bone down towards the mat and pulling your right foot towards your right armpit. Extend your right leg up, so straighten your leg, grab onto the back of your right calf. And then grab onto your big toe and extend your leg out to the right. If you can't do this, you can just extend it out to the right without grabbing your big toe. But it's a much deeper stretch if you can reach for your big toe. But otherwise, you'll get there someday. Come back to center and then slowly release your right foot down to the mat. Inhale your left leg up, half happy baby, grabbing onto the outside of the left foot. Pressing your right thigh bone down towards the mat. And straighten your left leg, grabbing onto the back of your left calf. Nice hamstring stretch. And again, reach for your big toe and then extend your leg out to the left. Breathe into the inner thigh. Inhale, left leg back up. And then exhale to slowly lower it down to the mat. Hug both knees into your chest and roll side to side, massaging your low back. And then come for an inversion. So I'm doing a headstand, but if you have not learned to do a headstand, you should not do a headstand. So you can go for a shoulder stand or a legs up the wall where you just place your hands under your hips and lift your legs up to the sky. You can also go to a physical wall to do this. It can feel really good. But some sort of inversion that gets our body upside down. It's really relaxing, can help reduce stress and anxiety, and is good for our circulation. And you can release down from your inversion if you were in a headstand. Counter pose is child's pose. If you were in a shoulder stand, counter pose is fish pose. Pressing into your forearms, pressing your chest up to the sky. And then wherever you are, we'll prepare for Shavasana. So get really comfortable, laying on your back, palms facing up. I like to place a pillow underneath of my thighs to support my low back. Make sure you're warm enough. Close your eyes. Really feel all the benefits of this practice soaking in, the connection to your body as you move with intention, with breath throughout this practice. Really building awareness of our bodies, how they feel, how they move, what feels good, where we have tension, poses that are difficult for us, that are often the ones we need to work on. If we only practice the poses that we're good at and that we like, then our practice won't improve that much. So it's very important to practice the poses that don't come easy to us or that we don't find enjoyable, because they say that the pose begins when you start to want to leave the pose, when it becomes difficult and you're like, ugh, is this almost over? And that's when the pose really starts, because that's when we feel challenged and we breathe through the difficulty. Breathing through difficult poses can translate to life as well, where we have difficult situations that arise in life, but we breathe through them, we work through them, we make it through them, and we come out alive on the other side. Feel the ground holding your body up. You don't have to do any work. Your muscles can simply relax and melt into puddles here. Keep breathing and keep being, keep resting here in this Shavasana. Inhaling your arms overhead, exhaling hands to heart center, prayer position. And then bring your thumbs of your prayer up to your third eye. Acknowledge the wisdom that you have inside of you. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed. Namaste. And let me know if you have any video requests for the future. Thanks so much.